And the first thing that I want to get into that I think a lot of people are curious about is, what does your mindset have to be to think used cars? It almost seems like you made the decision, no, we're going all in here. What led to that? How does it look on the day to day?
I think it's common sense, honestly. Used car markets in the US is 40 plus million, and the new car market is 16 million.
You're in a small suburb. Talk to me about positioning yourselves to do what you're doing volume wise in a small market with, I guess these kind of other quote unquote excuses that many would use.
Well, I think you're right. Those are excuses. And I think for us, that's part of our story. So I think it's great that we operate the way we do. It tells a story. You don't have to have the Taj Mahal. You don't have to be in a metro area. We sold 300 plus used cars last month in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania with 2,900 people. So you can do it if you believe you can and you put the right processes and the right people together.
Maybe they're catching on, Rob, and they're like, well, where do I even start? What are some key things you have learned need to be in place to have a successful pre-owned operation?
Well, to me, it's a simple game.
One of the things that I enjoy most about producing the Dealer Playbook is hearing from you. The messages that I get of people who are getting so much value out of the podcast, applying it to their day-to-day workflows and finding a thriving career right here in the retail auto industry. It means the world to me. And one of the ways that we make doing this possible is through my agency, Flex Dealer. And of course, in the spirit of providing value, I think this is a perfect time to head over to www.flexdealer.com to show even further support for you, my beloved DPB gang. Right now, if you go to my website, flexdealer.com, you can get a full free PDF of my #1 best-selling book, Don't Wait, Dominate. And the reason I think it's so special is that a lot of the topics that are discussed in this book are even more relevant today than ever with this surge in popularized AI and people wondering, well, what can I do next? How can I have a competitive advantage? Well, that's all here in this book. And so I'd love to be able to offer you a free copy of this. If you go to flexdealer.com, it would mean the world to me because that is how we continue to produce this show for you. Bob Ruth is a seasoned car dealer who turned a crisis into opportunity by scaling his pre-owned vehicle business while many competitors retrenched. As president of Bob Ruth Ford, he drove the dealership to profitability even when new vehicle sales stalled, proving that resilience and strategic focus can outpace volume when markets shift. We're going to get into all of it, the mindset, the operational shifts, everything. Rob, man, thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Hey, thanks for having me, Michael. Appreciate it.
I want to get into all of it because I've heard you say some things, whether it's on other things you've been on, other interviews, articles. And the first thing that I want to get into that I think a lot of people are curious about is, well, what does your mindset have to be to think used cars when so many people get into franchises with all of the impositions of the OEM saying, you got to sell this many new vehicles, you got to do all these sorts of things. It almost seems like you made the decision, no, we're going all in here. What led to that? How does it look on the day to day?
I think it's common sense, honestly. Used car markets in the US is 40 plus million, and the new car market is 16 million. We're one brand of that 16 million. And if it's a 10% market share, it's 1.6 million versus 40 million. And then we're competing on the same product with so many people, so many other dealerships on that, in that same market. So for us, the used cars was where we could differentiate ourselves. We have more control as an operator. We can be an entrepreneur and kind of do things the way we want to do it. And obviously used cars profitability, it goes through the whole company. The more used cars you sell, the more cars you service, the more parts you're selling. It didn't take me long to figure out, we gotta really continue ramping up this used car department. And it's fun. Honestly, I like the used cars. I don't like being told what to do.
I was going to ask that. I'm like, how do you navigate that when there are a lot of, franchise new car, implications of having a Ford store And
I don't want to say we don't sell new cars, because we actually do really well in new cars in our market. We outsell our market every year. But it's just so small. If we wanted to stay small, we would just be a new car dealer. But we wanted to grow. That's our, we want to grow and provide opportunities for everybody that's involved with our company, and used car way to do it.
I mean, there's some environmental things here that I think a lot of people use as an excuse, right? I've heard you talk about, our building is in one of these new modern, with the coffee shop thing that they're building into these new signature Ford stores. You're in a small suburb. Talk to me about positioning yourselves to do what you're doing volume wise in a small market with, I guess these kind of other quote unquote excuses that many would use.
Well, I think you're right. Those are excuses. And I think for us, that's part of our story. We're a 43-year-old company, but we act as a startup. My father and I were partners for 17 years. He passed away, unfortunately, almost 8 years ago. I bought the company from my family. So we're technically a startup. And after he passed away, there was about a 2-year transition there, and that was tough. And then right after that, and I finally got through with the purchase of the company, then COVID happened and we got shut down. So it was I'd love to say, hey, let's go build this, this Taj Mahal, but we just haven't been in that position. We're getting there, but I didn't have the capital to just go out and do that at that point in time. So I think it's great that we operate the way we do. It tells a story. You don't have to have the Taj Mahal. You don't have to be in a metro area. We sold 300 plus used cars last month in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania with 2,900 people. So, you can do it if you believe you can, and you put the right processes and the right people together.
That's awesome. And I love what you're saying about startup, because that brings into view a different mindset where I feel like, and I don't want to single anybody out, but also I kind of do. It's the Italian in me. And I'm like, hey, so many people hide behind the layer of, but I'm a franchise store and that means big corporate, this and that. But there's something very real that happens in a startup mindset. Maybe talk to me about the mindset shift for you thinking like a startup and its implications on your operation.
Well, I was a general manager for 15 years, and I was a minority partner. I had stock in the company, but once that point came and I had to really go all in, put everything on the line to buy the company, it's a completely different mindset. I didn't really know what fear of failure was, I think, until that point. And I have so much more respect for business owners that have to go through these things. Even my father, I loved him. We were great partners, but I just have so much more respect for him now than even then at that point in time.
What are some lessons you learned from your dad that you carry into the way you lead today? Well,
he was always just great with people. He loved his customers. He loved his employees. He was a hardworking guy. You had mentioned you were from a family business. So him and my parents were split up at a very young age. I lived with my father. He bought the store in 1983. Him and I lived at the dealership for 6 years at the store. So, I grew up with him. Man, we painted, I cleaned. I've had a job there since at a very young age. And one thing, he always made me appreciate it because he made me work for things. There was never any handouts. I was never given a position because of who I was. It was kind of, you're going to earn it, and you're going to learn this, and you're going to learn that. And you'll keep moving forward if you do the work.
I got to ask you this, because you're strumming a chord in me right now. And it guys, go with me here. It's a car business thing, but it's also kind of not at the same time. It's a life thing. And this is the Dealer Playbook, all about creating a thriving life while working in the car business. Couple of the things you said here, your dad making you work for things that deepens your appreciation. I think about my dad in a very similar way. Well, not too long ago, Rob, I was on an airplane, and I don't know why. I just opened my little like journal app, like notes app on my phone, and I've got a kind of like a living document now. And it was just like things my dad taught me. And it's just like a bullet point. It's nothing fancy. And I don't know why I felt inspired to write that in that moment. And then this is the thought that came to me. And here's the punchline. And I'm curious your thoughts. I feel so deeply grateful to my parents, my mom and my dad, for the sacrifices they made, the lessons they taught, the way they live their lives to set me and my siblings up for a better life. But there was struggle there. Like we saw them struggle, and thrive. Like we saw the seasons, and they were not shy about that. Like I know what it's like to eat, what do you call it? Like what are they when campers they hydrate it, rehydrated like pea soup. And like, just, we knew like we were just digging into food storage at times. I think of what that did for me to create a level of, dare I say, for the sake of potentially being judged here, a level of affluence that was not handed to me, that I worked for and I built. And then I look at my kids. Here's where I'm going with this, who I feel like I almost have to fabricate hardship for them, which feels almost like insincere and inauthentic in one way. And also like, I want to like beat them up sometimes. Because like they're not getting the punch to the ribs like I got. And I know you've
our parents, then they had it worse than we did. And just like you, I mean, I saw my father struggle. He was uneducated. He started in the car business. He worked his way up and he found an opportunity and he made it, he really made that. And I felt that there was a great opportunity in front of me. I never wanted to feel like I was taking that easy road. So for me, and I'm sure you can relate, my job was to take it to the next level. He laid the foundation. My job was to come in it. And at that point in time, I could tell he was tired. I mean, it was hard work to get to where he got to. And for me, it was like, all right, the foundation's laid. And I came in full time in the year 2000. So dealers thought the internet was going to take their franchises and they were going to no longer be. I saw it as an opportunity that we could kind of grow with it. And it was just perfect timing. And, my dad never even had an email address ever. I mean, I don't think he ever opened a computer. It just wasn't his thing. He was a people's guy. He was a, hardworking kind of person. Technology was not his thing at all. So, next generation, it's our obligation not to just kind of keep things the way they are, or to kind of challenge and take them to another level.
Hey, does your marketing agency suck? Listen, before we hop back into this episode, I know you know me as the host of the Dealer Playbook, but did you also know that I'm the CEO of Flex Dealer, an agency that's helping dealers capture better quality leads from local SEO and hyper-targeted ads that convert? So if you want to sell more cars and finally have a partner that's in it with you that doesn't suck, visit flexdealer.com. Let's hop back into this episode. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. It is. It's like there's the challenge of building it and laying the foundation. There's a whole new challenge with like bookends of pressure, the pressure of not screwing up the foundation and the pressure of the forward growth and movement.
Second generation, the statistics are not good on second generation, business owners. And I always use that to my advantage. Like that was a driving force for me not to be a statistic, so to speak.
There's always that negative connotation too. Like we often joke about the PhD, right? Papa had a dealership, but it's like, that's not mutually exclusive either. Cause yeah, maybe Papa did have a dealership, but I also earned my PhD, right? I want to talk to you about the used car operation. Earlier, you said it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but I mean, it's also a different game. Like it's not just baseball anymore. It's like, it's a different discipline. When you look at your used car operation, when you said, okay, we're going to grow this thing, Where do you start? Because I think there's a lot of dealers out there who are focused. A lot of the emphasis is new. They don't realize that they should have become a pre-owned dealership a long time ago. Maybe they're catching on, Rob, and they're like, well, where do I even start? What are some key things you think, or not you think, but you have learned need to be in place to have a successful pre-owned operation?
Well, I think it starts in acquisition. You have to have the right inventory. You got to know your market. You got to know what sells in your market. And that's changed so much, Michael. I mean, it used to be easy. We'd go to the auction and we'd pick up, 20, 30 cars at a clip, and we'd bring them back and we'd service them, we'd sell them. But, that game has changed. I mean, the auction is so competitive. You're not competing locally anymore. You're competing globally, to be honest with you. So that's not necessarily the way that you can go now. So, now we created a buying center and we buy cars from the public. I like to say that's a service we provide to people selling their car. We make it simple for them. But that's been a huge part of what we do. And then once you acquire them, you have to be able to, you got to merchandise your inventory, and then you've got to be able to recondition it. And you got to, I think your price is relevant. You've got to stay on top of pricing. There's a lot of discipline that goes along with being good in the used car business, for sure. But I think acquisition, you said, where do you start? You start in acquisition, having the right stuff. If you go to the auction, and if that's all you're doing is going back to the auction, and you're paying, well, you're competing against everybody, then you're paying high auction fees, and you're paying transportation fees. By the time you get it to the store, there's no margin there, and you're just hoping for a trade-in, and you're hoping for finance income. That only works for so long. You've got to be creative and figure out other ways to get more inventory.
Can you bring me inside of your acquisition process a little bit further? Because my mind's already thinking, well, there's some tools I probably need. There's a person or people that know cars inside and out, what to look for. There's probably some sort of consult from technicians or something. Like, what does that look like for you guys to mitigate the risk of maybe getting a crappy car?
Well, it started for us and that was our business model. Go to the auction, buy a lot of cars, bring them back, merchandise them, sell them. COVID happens, and all of a sudden we don't have any new car inventory. And now used cars are absolutely through the roof, and they're going up in value wholesale faster than retail is. So we had just gotten through COVID where we had to lay off half of our staff, or more than that at first. We brought people back, and then all of a sudden now we don't have inventory, and we're built on volume. So it was, you figure it out now, or you're going to have to go through the same pain you just got through that you never wanted to go through again. So honestly, it started with me in a desperate mode. I just started going on Marketplace, people that had their car for sale. I started reaching out to them. I started communication, and I started making people offers on their vehicles and sight unseen. And I think the first day I bought 5 or 6 cars. The second day I bought another 5 or 6 cars. And then it didn't take me long to realize, Rob, you're not going to be able to do this forever. You need to scale this. And that's where, we have a team now. We have a team of 5 or 6 people. All they do every day is they're out looking for inventory. There are people who are trying to sell. And then we have a whole process behind that. Wow. We bought 240 cars off the street last month as a franchise dealer in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania.
Holy cow.
We want to scale that. That's where it starts. I mean, that's where we have to continue to grow and able to sell more.
Wow. What kind of training, what are you looking for in the individuals who are out searching the market and making those offers?
Service-minded, customer-focused people. We're providing a service. We're trying to take that pain away from them of selling their car. And would you rather sell to me where, we have 40 some years experience, our money's good, or would you rather take your chances with, John Smith? We don't know what his finances are like. You're going to have to go to the DMV. We take care of all that for you, and we do it very seamlessly every day.
What's the reaction from your market? Because you're in a suburb, the outskirts, if you will, small town.
People love it. Like I said, we're providing a great service to people, and our feedback is fantastic. I mean, I'd say 75% of the time we actually go to them. We do business in their driveway with a check. We show up. We've gotten the information from them. We'll do a quick inspection, and again, we just try to make it easy and take that friction away. Whether we're buying from you or you're buying from us, it's not rocket science. I think that's where people are looking for. Everything we do outside of the car business is pretty simple. And then we go to the car business and it's just like, God, I don't want to go to the car dealership. I don't want to even contact them. The last thing I want to do is deal with a car dealer, and we're just trying to change that. And that's our mission, really, is to change that perception.
Are you guys rolling in with, maybe this is a dumb question, but it's where my brain went. Are you rolling in with like an OBD reader or like a diagnostic, like a quick little check in the driveway to make sure that?
It depends on the car. I mean, if the older the car, the more mileage on the car, we're going to do a deeper inspection, but you'd be surprised. I'd say 90 to 95% of the time we're getting accurate descriptions from people. Yeah,
because at the end of the day, they don't want an issue either.
Right.
They don't want you coming back. Now you know where they live.
There's no going back once the deal is done. But there's no warranty when you buy from the public.
Right. But the flip side of this is, what did you say the ratio is? It's 8 to 1?
8 to 1.
So you're selling 8 cars for every new car.
8 used to new to 1 new.
8 used to every 1 new. And now that seems, I mean, at that volume, that's created a reputation in and of itself. That must be traveling, like word of mouth traveling now. Like, you want to sell your car, like, don't even bother with Facebook Marketplace. Like,
we have a lot of repeat business, and there's still opportunities for us. I think that we don't even really market for it at this point in time. It's just it's an outbound approach, but word does get out, and we're going to keep growing that.
Now, all of that said, how do you satisfy the OEM when they get into their breathe down your neck mode?
Well, to me, it's a simple game. They look at your sales expectancy. I mean, here's your market. It's on a map, and 10% of that, this is the vehicle sold. They look at how many of your brand were sold in that market and how many you sold in that market. And if we outsell our market, they're pretty happy. If your customer satisfaction numbers are good, which ours are great, they're pretty happy. So there's a game to play to kind of keep them off your back, and we've gotten pretty good at it.
That's awesome. The next place my mind goes is what vehicles, because you mentioned it's about there's a mix of things that need to be right on used vehicles. And I think a lot of people that are thinking about, hey, we got to be more intentional about our pre-owned operation, are concerned about the risks associated with it, right? Like, especially during the pandemic, which, thankfully is starting to feel like a distant thing. They're like, okay, but there's risk, because at one point used cars were pretty much the same price as new cars, and sometimes they were even more expensive. What do you see happening in the market now? Are there any pivots or adjustments that you're thinking about in the next 6 months that will scale your operation further?
It's crazy, because it was the first time in history that vehicles went up in value so fast during the pandemic. And then the flip side, on the backside of it, they were going down so fast too. So, you had to play a different game for each of those scenarios. I think it's stabilized more now. I think, now interest rates are coming down. I'm hoping we see a little bit more demand here in the next 6 months, but I'm very, I'm optimistic about the market going forward. I mean, there's always risks, but again, if you know your market, and I think right now, there's a sweet spot in used cars in that $25,000 and under range. I mean, we're not trying to sell new cars, we're trying to sell used cars. And I think price is very relevant. And I think you need to have inventory in the right price ranges to satisfy that market.
Let's create some enemies. Are there vehicles you just will never touch?
Not necessarily. I mean, we buy anything, and we may end up wholesaling it, but we're trying to really brand that out there that, we'll buy any car. So, we don't do as well with, we don't do as well with like foreign cars or even like premium type inventory. We're selling to everyday Joe, serve the masses, so to speak, versus serve the kings. That's our market.
I love that. There's something so genius about this that I'm thinking through, and this is why I love getting to be the student on calls like these. You know, a lot of people, obviously, at time of recording this, it's November 4th, 2025. Lots of talk in the news from all of the pundits and economic experts saying, brace, there's maybe a recession coming. There's all these headwinds and all of these different things. But I'm seeing you so well positioned for that, because what's going to happen if there's a recession and people still need to buy cars? Their minds are going to go immediately back to pre-owned.
Yeah, right.
Having said that, though, is it $25,000 cars and under still, or does it go down to 18? Does it
lower? I mean, you know, we try to keep some of, you know, that cheaper inventory, but I think the majority still needs a good, reliable transportation. And I don't think cars are going to fall below that. I don't see cars going down in value much more than they already have.
What kind of conversations do you have from a leadership perspective in setting the tone, setting the temperature, if you will? You know, you have a very well-equipped team, you know, management and all these sorts of things, who all come maybe from within the industry, outside in. Maybe they've been there with you a while and it's an easier thing. For those coming in, wrapping their head around, hey, we are a used car operation with a Ford logo on the building. Is there a mind shift that is required? And if so, like, what are you saying that to them to like help wrap their head around it and see the vision?
Well, it's tough when people come from the outside, especially in the car business, and they come into us. It's a good 90 days until I'd say that they can, okay, now I understand. Now I see how it's going. They hear about us. They're intrigued. They want to come work for us. And then it's like they get there and like, wow, what is happening? Yeah, we're different, but it's not a bad different. It's just different. And I think that's a good thing. I think that, you know, we as car dealers need to change. I think that, you know, for me, I want to be aligned with my people. I want them to, I'm transparent with just about everything with our team. And when the company wins, I want our people to win, you know, and I look at our team as partners versus employees. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I think that has not always been the case in the car business. You've got a head honcho GM or dealer, and he calls all the shots. And I've done that. I've tried to do that, and it'll wear you out, and, you know, it doesn't last. So we're big on teamwork. We're big on developing people, showing them career paths within the organization. And as we grow, there's going to be more opportunities for everybody. So it creates that culture.
Yeah. We hear a lot about culture, and I wish this was a more prevalent conversation, because when I get to sit with leaders such as yourself who talk about implications of culture and others in the industry, it's a growing group, but I think there's still resistance to this because it sounds too kumbaya. Talk to me a little bit about ways in which you're seeing culture being quantified in your organization, turning into a real, like, tangible driver of business.
Well, we have a lot of young people and I think we're fortunate, and it's kind of like, it's good for the future, but sometimes it's difficult when you're in the developing of young people because they don't have the experience. But as we're growing and things are happening that we've said were going to happen and that we've been working towards, and they've been a part of it, I think that's what people are really looking for these days. They want to be a part of something, not just, hey, I want to go get a job, right? And especially younger people. They want more mentoring. They want, you know, career paths. For us, it was like sink or swim. Hey, if you make it, you do. And if you don't, hey, sorry about your luck. So that helps our culture significantly, just having younger group that we train and develop all the time, and then working them to the next level, so to speak.
Yeah, this is huge for me as well, especially when you factor that into, you know, population 2,900. It can be, here's another excuse I hear a lot. It's like, man, the gene pool here is thin. Like people don't want to live here. They don't want to work here or whatever. Here you are assuming the center and saying, no, this is a place that people want to work. That they're a part of something that even in a population 2,900, there is a real amazing opportunity right here to be a part of something, to feel connected at a deeper level
and be successful at the same time. I mean, because
right.
There's great opportunities in the car business. If you stick with it and you learn and you have experience, you can make a lot of money that people that maybe didn't have that education or didn't have the opportunity that others did. They can start in the car business, whether it's even a technician. Man, technicians, they're high demand and low supply. I mean, we have technicians that absolutely kill it. So trying to recruit people into that, and also in sales as well. I mean, there's same opportunities.
I'm hyper focused on this, what you're talking about right now. Recently, I was in Kazakhstan and I was doing some consulting and training for their auto organization. So they have a brand new, like an NADA. It's their version of it, but it's brand new. It's like 2-3 years old. And we were out there doing some training and we got to meet one of the dealer group owners there, 30 plus dealerships, and has the factories. And now they're assembling vehicles in Kazakhstan and stuff like that. What I was inspired by resembles what I'm feeling inspired by you right now, which is he's not looking at the car business just from the angle of sell cars, profits, success, etc. Like success to him is this very real idea that in a new country, 30-year-old country like Kazakhstan, the auto industry provides great paying jobs. It creates opportunities for growth that I haven't seen in any other industry, to be able to take anybody from any walk of life and give them an opportunity. And then this very real idea that because of the car business, we are building a nation. The downstream effect of, oh, cars? Okay, so you need steel production. Oh, okay, so you need infrastructure to drive on, which is also steel and all sorts of other manufacturing and on, like the ripple effect, man. And then I'm thinking about your community. We know, we say this all the time. We're like, dealers are like the backbone of, but really like what you're saying, why I'm feeling so excited about it is, dude, like Bob Ruth Ford is building this region. How many people on your team now?
170.
Well, 170 people who then all go home to their families.
Correct.
Who are seeing growth and opportunity and feeling the culture, which means that's 170 people. Let's just say the average family's 3 or 4 people. So 170 times 4 who are hearing positive things about Bob Ruth, who then those people are now becoming advocates. It's like this pedigree of influence that builds and shapes a community and the lifestyle of people. Dude, I'm just super inspired by it because like I look at the 30 people on my team and I feel that way. I can't imagine how you must feel sitting in your seat with 170 people. It's super, super amazing, man. Super amazing.
Thank you.
As we wind down, we've covered a lot of territory. We've talked about used car operation. We've talked about how you play the game of the OEM. We've talked about culture. We've talked about acquisition. As we wind down, how can those listening and watching connect with you?
I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, those are the big 3 for me.
I love it, man. I'm so glad we could connect. Thank you so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Dealer Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed tuning in, please subscribe, share, and hit that like button. You can also join us and the DPB community on social media. Check back next week for a new Dealer Playbook episode. Thanks so much for joining.